The weather's not so good outside today, so it's forced me into the shed to do a couple of jobs that have been waiting for a while. And the first of these is to finish off my pipe clamp wood vises. Now, a friend of mine told me about these a couple of years ago, and they are by far the cheapest way to make a wood vise. It's simply a pipe clamp screwed onto a couple of pieces of wood. I put 2 pieces, one would probably be sufficient. The hole through, and behind the bench is the other end of the pipe clamp, and that's screwed on in behind. Now I have a hole here where I already have it fitted, and it does work, sliding through. The beauty of these is that you have some rapid adjustment abilities, but then when you come up close, you get it right, you can actually put your pressure on with your clamp. The downside at the moment, because I haven't quite finished, is that there's no stability. There's quite a lot of rock, and my intention today is to fit 2 pieces of dowel into here and have those outrigger holes through with the dowels, which will help stabilise it. I hope it's not going to result in too much binding, but I believe it will stabilise it. We'll see how we go. I also want to put a second one through here, because I've got 2 pipe clamps. They're so cheap. You buy a couple of pipe clamp sets for $25 or something along those lines, and a couple of pieces of pipe, you know, $30, $40, and you've got a pair of wood vises. So I'll put a second one in here, and that will allow me to clamp over a longer distance. I've got a wood vise at the end of this bench, and that'll allow me to fit something all the way along, clamp it up to work on. So I need to mark it up, drill some holes, both in here and into the bench, and put these couple of pieces of dowel on. The first thing I'm doing is finding the central spot between these 2 vises, so that I can put it reasonably central, around this point somewhere. And that should check what's in behind there. That's much the same. It has quite sufficient space. So this is where I'll put the second one in. The way I'm going to get this hole lined up is I'm using the second one of these. I've taken the pipe clamp out and I'm lining up where I had the hole in that. Clamp it on and then run the drill through. Should all be in the perfect spot there now. Using power tools off grid is never as quick and easy as when you're used to having continuous power. To use a drill, I have a inverter and batteries here in the shed that provide sufficient power to light power tools like drills and small angle grinders, jigsaws and that type of thing. Anything heavier, I've got to go to start a generator. So there we go. Great, that's the hole through nicely. That's the way it should fit. Screw that back on, and then I can put the other piece on the other side. Sounds like a little bit of ice coming down on the roof. It's cool outside. Glad I came in. This will screw on sideways like that in the back. I'll get it to go through. That's it. I position it and then tighten this up. That's where it should be. And just have to get under there and put a couple of screws in. Well, being under benches is never not much fun, and for some reason batteries always go flat at the critical time. But anyway, that should work now. Let's see how we go. Let release. Rather tight. Might have to slightly adjust the position. It's too tight. Plant seems to be jamming. Okay, that didn't go quite as smoothly as I'd hoped, but finally it is working nicely in and out. Simply getting the alignment exactly right and putting those in. So that gives me the second one in. When I built this one, I made it wider than the other, and really it is too wide. There's too much skew. It doesn't really work. So I think I'm going to actually take this off and shorten this timber down to the same size as the other one before I put those outrigger dowels on. But I need to work out how far to come out. I have to clear the piece behind because it's sideways, so I'll have to measure that, and then I can check it, work out where to drill these extra holes. To get the sizes to match together, the technique I'm using is piggybacking them together so that they're the same, and then I can mark up each side like that, and I'll be able to just cut it down. I have worked out the places to put the outriggers. I'm working 85mm from the center here. I'm not having done this before, I'm hoping that's going to work. We'll see how we go. Okay, I've cut this down to size, clamped it on here. It's marked at the point I want these to go through, so I'm going to drill some little pilot holes through first and try and get that exactly the same across both blocks, and then I'll come back with the spade bit from the other side. This hole here will simply be to put the screws through to hold the dowel in. So now that I have my pilot holes in, all 4 of them, I'm ready to drill through to fit this size dowel through. I'm not giving it much tolerance. This dowel measures just over 19mm, and this is a 20mm spade bit. I'm going pretty tight. I don't want much play. I hope that's not going to bind. We'll see how we go. Okay, that's all 4 holes. Now, hoping the dowel actually fits through. It does. It's going to be a bit questionable how well it goes. If it's off a little bit, it will be tight. But I need it to be tight. I might have to use a little bit of candle wax to make it slide smoothly. The next thing is to drill holes in here to actually put the dowel in. I'll come in a fair way, and then I will probably glue and a screw from the other side to hold it in while the glue is setting. In order to get a straighter and more precise hole here, a bit more accuracy, I'm using the bench drill, which is probably not what you'd usually be using with the spade bit, but on this occasion I will. Now that I have drilled the holes in both blocks, I'm going to cut the dowel. Now I'm cutting these dowels at 250, which is quite a bit shorter than the pipe, but it allows me to get the pipe in before the dowels actually engage. Otherwise, if you're trying to put all three in at once, it's going to be a little bit harder. So if you're taking this out, because that's one of the big advantages of these, is they're easily removed and then reinserted. And when they're not there, you've got a nice clean bench front, but then you can put them in when you need them. And 250, look, up to 200 grabs, probably going to be quite adequate for what I need. Okay, they're back together, and before we actually put it together, I'm going to make these a little bit more pointed. And the easy way to do that is going to be on the belt sander. I'm going to use the belt sander here, but running a belt sander requires a generator. Okay, I've screwed in the back only, there's no glue, it's just screws holding them in there at this stage. And it might be best to leave it that way. I'll see how I go. So let's see how it fits. Goes in. There's a lot of play at that point. Once you get it in, it comes in. It's a lot firmer here now, no wriggle. So how would it be to hold something? Let's find a piece of wood. Well, I think that's a lot better than it was without those outriggers. And I don't know, I was originally going to glue them, but I may not. I may just leave them with the screws. See how it goes. I quite like that. I think it's going quite well. Try the other one. A little bit of binding on this one. Yeah, that's not so bad. A little bit of lubrication with a bit of candle wax, and that'll work very nicely. I'm very happy with the way this one is. And that's two wooden bench vise, built very cheaply and working very nicely, I think. And the fact that they can be removed so easily, I think is a great advantage. To store them when not in use, I have a couple of pipe brackets on the end of the bench, and they just slip in there and sit nicely. So yes, if you want a couple of cheap wood vices, give these a go.